Likkutei Torah Bamidbar, Shavuot Maamar Bamidbar Yud Gimel, Eis Beis, like 15 lines at the end of the first column. Okay, now the Rebbe is explaining how do you have this infinite level of Hashem limiting himself coming into the world. So he said that's through Torah mitzvahs. Okay, because it says Bereshis is for the sake of Torah, for the sake of Yidden. So the mitzvahs are called 248 limbs, which means a limb is a vessel, a vehicle for the power of the neshama. And then he starts explaining his word. Now, Torah though is the blood, not the limb. That's mitzvahs. Torah is the blood. That's mamshach ruach chaim beivam and nefesh atzma. What does it mean? Ki adam hu nefesh. The blood is the life of the nefesh in the limb. You have the limb, which is the vessel. Then you have the blood that's in the limb. That's the actual nefesh itself. Kacho in Torah said the same thing. We're saying Torah is blood, just like blood is the life of the limbs. Torah is the life of the mitzvahs atzmam. And that's what it says. Zeis HaTorah Adam. It says in the pasuk Zeis HaTorah Adam Ki Yom Hazbayil, the various different psukim. Adam is Aleph Dam. What does it mean? Sheneim Pirush HaMitzvahs. That's the explanation of the mitzvahs. How the mitzvah should be done properly. So basically, you have the mitzvah, and then you have the life of the mitzvah. What's the life of the mitzvah? The way the mitzvah needs to be done properly. And that's what he says. Now we can understand what the Gemara says. If somebody learned the laws of carbon, it's like he actually sacrificed the carbon. And like the pasuk says, in every place, it's brought as keteiros from my name. The Gemara says, so now the question is, if that's the case, so Torah is greater than mitzvahs. But if Torah is only the explanation of the mitzvah, how could Torah be greater than the mitzvah? And he says, what's interesting is, like the Gemara said, you learn the laws of Oilah, it's like you brought the carbon Oilah. Now in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, you had to bring it in the Mizbeach, in the Beis HaMikdash, dafka by day, you had to be tahar, you can't have, all that stuff. Yet the Talmidei Chacham b'chol makom b'chol zman, any day, like the Rabbi used to say the example, at night in Chutz La'aretz, when you were Tamei, you were able to learn Torah about Eilah, and it's like you brought a carbon Eilah, which means there's an advantage of learning Torah over the actual carbon itself. Yes, ma'am, many mitzvahs are dependent on time, like Shabbos, Shofar, Sukkah, Lulav, are only in a certain time. Avo shlei bizmanam lav mitzvah siklau. But l'mashal, keeping Shabbos on Monday, or benching Lulav today is not a mitzvah at all. So he said, Mashenki Talmud Torah, she mitzvah b'chol zman lasi b'divrei Torah, fil hilchos Shabbos Sukkah. But today, if you learn the laws of Shabbos, you're getting the mitzvah of Shabbos. You can't keep Shabbos today, but you can learn Torah about Shabbos today. That means there's an advantage in learning over the action. So he says Allah inyan, why take? He said because Torah is a bechinas adama mamshech chayis chol eivarim b'shavu b'chlulusam. Because blood is actually the physical thing that brings the life of the neshama into the limbs. When the blood, God forbid, is cut off from a limb, that limb dies after a while because there's no more blood. So blood is the lifeline from the nefesh itself. That's why it says, Ki adam hu nefesh. Why is the blood the soul? Because in the blood is the soul coming into each particular limb.
Why is blood tumah?
Blood is not tummy. Blood of a dead person is tummy. Oh, that's a different thing. That has to do with Chatei Tzadas.
That's a different blood.
It's a different blood, but that has to do with the Itzadas. And another aspect of it is that because she gets her period and she sees dam, that means she didn't get pregnant. Pregnant is life, right? Pregnancy is life. She didn't get pregnancy, it's like death. That's why it's also tumah, similar to the concept of tumah's mess. But really it's not the same tumah like blood and the same, koyin, whatever. Just like in the human body, every limb is different. The blood, though, that goes into every limb is the same blood. The blood doesn't change between the head and the foot. The limb changes between the head and the foot, because this is a head, this is a foot. But the blood, the same blood that goes to the head goes to the foot. The life of it doesn't change. Pirush, mitzvahs afal pishen chayfetz ratzon Hashem. Even though they are the will of Hashem, yesh b'ain eisas man. There's a time and a place for mitzvahs, v'shem tachatz hashemayim. La'imam lamatam mechinas Torah is called shemayim. In other words, like this. The pasuk says, Shlomo Melech says in Kehelis, l'chol zman ve'eis, where l'chol chayfetz tachatz hashemayim. There's a time and place for everything under the sun. So he says like this, Shemayim is Torah. Mitzvahs are tachas ha-Shemayim, under the level of Torah. Therefore, mitzvahs are bound by time. Torah is not bound by time, because Torah is above time and place. So tachas ha-Shemayim, under the meaning in world, over there, Shlomo Melech says in Kehelis, everything has a time and place. Torah is above time and place. Therefore, you can learn about korbanos at night in Chutz La'aretz, whatever, and you're still getting the mitzvah of like you brought the korban. It's not the exact physical aspect of it. That's why we daven in Shachris and Musaf that we should come back to we should come back and do the mitzvah committed to the Tzeinecha.
People learn about Shabbos, but if you don't keep Shabbos, then what's the whole point?
And then you should have never been conceived.
Yeah,
because the whole point of learning is to keep. If you're learning with the intent of not keeping, it's not learning. It's not learning.
But over here you're saying by learning, you go into sometimes even a greater level, but you're going even higher than...
Yeah, but here we're not talking about learning with the intent of not keeping. Then it's not learning. Here we're talking about learning. You can't do the mitzvah because it's in Chutz La'aretz. But you want to do the mitzvah. If there would be an opportunity to do the mitzvah, you do the mitzvah.
If Torah is about time, how come there's some during the day or some days during the year that we cannot study Torah?
7:16.
It's about time.
It's overtime. Bottom line is, it's in the first page of Shulchan Aruch, or the Alter Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe says like this. He speaks about Tin Chatzos, this for him. Tin Chatzos. He says midnight is an auspicious time. L'cheira, midnight in New York is different than LA, different than China, different than Israel, every country. So where is the Eis Ratzon? When is the Eis Ratzon? Well, Shabbos is a holier day. When the Shabbos here in Australia, it's Sunday. When the Shabbos here, whatever. So when is it? So the Alter Rebbe says in Shulchan Aruch, in the first few sifim, the Alter Rebbe says that because Shabbos is above time and place, whenever the time and place is Shabbos, that's when the Kedusha comes in. But it's not connected to any time and place. Torah is above time and place. When it comes into place, then it's place.
It's called what?
Kodesh.